In the initial period of man's fourth evolution, the human kingdom branched off in several and various directions. Even at the 3.5 state, no battery, okay? There is the branching off with Kashyapa. There is the branching off into 3 directions, giving birth to the divine, the diabolic. The crawling and the flying ones, all being born from the heavenly man. That's why the whole thing is said to be human kingdom. The human evolution. Man in Sanskrit means Nara. Nara means not destructible. That is the soul. The souls are not destructible. The forms around the souls, they undergo changes, but the souls continue. That's why, right from the first race, it's only preparation of man up to Daksha, and then from Daksha it is man only giving rise to other kingdoms. And in the fourth, it is still the diversions are too many. There are several and various. The outward shape of its first specimens were not uniform. The forms are prepared and are always put to development. Form is always in evolution. Yes. In fact, the human form that we have now is different from the human form 200 years ago as it was. It is more refined now. Yes. Every now and then, just like we bring in new model cars, the bodies are also given new models. There is a manufacturing principle in creation which gives shapes to the souls. It is called shape consciousness. That shape consciousness is called Vishwakarma. Yes. There is number consciousness which is called Kapila. And the evolution of models is done by Manus. Manu Vaivasvata is the present designer of human forms. Yes. So they are getting more and more and more refined. So the refinement ultimately would reach, by the end of this round, to enable us to regain etheric bodies. That was the state before. In the process of involution, we have become dense. And again, in the process of evolution, we become refined. So the original models are crude. See the original models of aeroplanes, trains, automobiles, any machine, they were all crude and slowly they are developed. This is an aspect in nature, meaning even the forms go through evolution. Yes. So the outward shapes of its first specimens were not uniform. Yes. And they were tampered with. I have explained how even now we get some art shapes, even for the human beings. I also said there is another dimension to this, that is the karma of the being. There is a story in Bhagavata and Mahabharata where one of the cousins of Krishna was born with an odd form. He had 2 heads, 4 hands, normally as others 2 legs, and was looking very ugly. And the parents are kingly, and they are ruling a kingdom. So a king's son is born like that. So the king invited the initiates, the seers, and requested them if there is a way to regularize his shape. Then the initiates visualized that this soul is a diabolic one and has taken to incarnation only to cause destruction in the society. They have even advised him to put him off. But you can't put off any life. No one has the right to kill another. So the priest, the initiate said, you would have a lot of sorrows from this man. Not only you, but also the society. Then the king requested the initiates, we as parents are very righteous. Would not our righteous help this boy to get at least a normal shape? Then the initiates visualized and said, yes, he will get there is scope from his horoscope that he can get regularized. But the man who gives him the regular shape will also be the man who will ultimately kill him. So then, first to get a regular shape for the boy was more important. So the parents went on exposing the child to all relatives, friends and all that. Whoever touches him, if that is the person through whom he is to get the regular form, he would get regularized. no one could really touch him and give him the regular form. So one day Krishna came to his paternal aunt's house. His paternal aunt, that is father's sister, is the mother of this irregular baby. So they explained their sorrow. And they also said, we heard many things about you. Would you kindly help us? He said, let me see the boy. He was already 5 years old. So the boy came to him. He took him into his hands. Then he turned out to be a normal, handsome boy. Very normal and very handsome boy. The parents were delighted. Then the paternal aunt sought a boon from Krishna. Yes. You are my dearest nephew, and you are also my God. Whenever we have problems, we look to you. You must give me a promise that you will not kill my son. Because it is prophesied that the person through whom my son gets regular form is also the person through whom my son receives death. Krishna said, your son is born to do acts of destruction, and my work on the planet is to establish law. So if he comes in the way, for the good of general society, I may have to put him off. Then the paternal aunt said, for my sake, could you not be a bit liberal? Krishna smiled and said, I will tolerate him until he does 100 mistakes at the same time. That means in one situation, he should do 100 mistakes. Until then, I will not come in his way. Anyway, when it is prophesied, it happens that way. That the boy grows, becomes very destructive. He joins black forces and causes lot of disturbance in the society. Molesting women, all kinds of crimes. So he, in one occasion, does 100 mistakes in a matter of 1 hour. So he receives his death in the hands of Krishna. Madam Blavatsky also mentions about this episode in Isis Unveiled. About the odd shapes. Yeah. Odd shapes generally come on the basis of the karma that one carries. So likewise, these formations do happen. This is what I wanted to inform yesterday. For want of time, I did not do that. Yes, then next question is, please could you explain the deeper meaning of Garden of Eden, the holy paradise? Yes. Question number 18 I will answer at the end. I am now answering question number 19. deeper meaning of Garden of Eden and the holy paradise. That is the state where, state of third round, the beginning of the fourth round, where you have still the whole creation not so dense as it is now. And the desire for the objectivity is not so vehement at the moment. And Eva desiring for the objectivity is the beginning of the dense formations relating to the earth and relating to the man. Until then they did not have coats of skin. It means the moment she plucked the apple, they felt the shame, and then they looked for some clothes which are of skin. It is nothing but the body of flesh and blood, which is the coat of skin for us, with a coat of skin. It was all opaque creation, and beings were etheric. The planet was also not so dense as it is now. In fact, Adam was at one time androgynous. So the female part of Adam comes out of him. That is how it is said, Eva is born out of the rib of Adam. Yes. Forming out of the rib means a part of him. Our feminine aspect is in the form of the females around us. And then there is the mutual attraction. When your femininity is totally with you, as part of you, you don't look for females outside. That is the androgynous state. Not only females. You don't desire anything from the objectivity. An initiate is an androgynous man. He has nothing to desire from the outer. So the ability to integrate the femininity into your masculinity is the process of yoga or discipleship. That comes by orienting to higher aspirations, not by denying, rejecting, suppressing. That's not the way. Suppressing desire is foolish. You should work for higher aspirations. When you are attending to something more important, more valuable, all your energies are focused over there, and your attention is not drawn to your baser desires. The science of wisdom tells us reorientation as a means of transcending desire. If you engage and engross with nobler objectives in life, all your baser desires are all unconsciously dissolved in you. When we regularly engage in nobler things, there is no time for silly and small things. That's how they are eliminated. The doctrine of suppression promoted by religions is one of nonsense. As I said the other day, it created more disease on the planet. Yes. When you have desire, and when you are not able to reorient the desire to higher purposes, it should necessarily find its expression, because energy is like a flow. It has to be, it should be allowed to flow or should be diverted. Otherwise it will cause the necessary pressure in the body and bring in the disturbance by way of disease. So Adam's femininity in the process of involution came out of him. And hence the story of her picking up an apple. So when they were male, female, also still it was in the etheric. The desire for the objectivity has enabled them to step down in their consciousness. That is the touchdown. That is what is said to be the serpent crawling down the tree, reaching the earth. So that's how we have to understand this story. Yes. The story of Adam and Eve is a story just around the fourth round, beginning of the fourth round. There is a lot that happened before. So that's how Adam, Kadmon, the heavenly Adam. From there, these successive stories like Daksha, yes, and then Kashyapa, these are all missing in those scriptures. That's where Madame Blavatsky extols the Puranas. And she says in the Secret Doctrine, our Adam comes halfway the story. The story of Adam, which is in the beginning of Old Testament, is already halfway the story. Much story happened before. Emergence of cosmic intelligences, emergence of solar intelligences, emergence of zodiac, emergence of divine and diabolic through human, emergence of eagles and serpents. After that is the story. Yes. So that's how the story of Eden is what we now try to work out in our reverse direction. Yes. And the word paradise comes from the Persian word Firdaus. Firdaus is heavenly state. It came out as paradise. So this heavenly state is when your desire nature is absorbed into you. Desirelessness gives a lot of peace, poise, and it keeps you energetic because desire dissipates the energies. It's a state that needs to be worked out in the reverse direction. It is from that state of desirelessness, which is paradise, we have come down. Yes. Then about serpents and nagas and dragons, and about Asclepius. If some light can be thrown. Among serpents, there are a few serpents which can fly, which can move vertically, like birds. They are the nagas. Yes. Naga is a serpent of wisdom. Meaning it is like embodiment of Kundalini fire. It has great intelligence. Yes. It has memory, it has clairvoyance, it has clairaudience, just like an initiate. Yes. An initiate is called Naga. Naga is a state of seeming non-movement. Movement is called Ga. Aga means non-movement. Na-aga is no non-movement. So no non-movement means it is not movement, it is not non-movement. It's a special state of being. Yes. Means moving and non-moving, both are included in it. It's a very special way of living. You are in movement, but you do not seem to be in movement. Yes. You are doing things, but you do not seem to be doing things. That's how Krishna conducts the whole Mahabharata war. In truth, it was he who conducted the war for Pandavas. But he did not hold any weapon, nor did he fight. It is called a state of Naga. Yes. It's moving, but you don't know that it's moving. It is acting, but you don't know that it is acting. Yes. I give you an example which makes it easy. The movement of this planet is faster than a jumbo jet. Yes. So it's moving so fast. But do we feel its movement? We don't feel at all. It is conducting so much movement. It is moving around itself, moving around the sun. It moves itself towards the left, towards the right, in such great speed. We don't feel it. We never feel the movement of this earth, but it is moving at the highest speed. That is the state of a Naga. There can be no better example than this. Likewise, a river. The river seems to be always there, but it's not the same water. The inflow of water, outflow of water is so constant that you don't feel the flow at all. This is another example for Naga. This is what is called action in inaction, and inaction in action. This is what is described by Krishna in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the one who does like this is called Naga. The great dragons and the Nagas, they do much more activity than what all we can do. And yet they don't seem to be doing anything. That is how there are seers doing penance for the peace of humanity, for the well-being of humanity, for evolution of humanity, sitting in Himalayas and such other sacred mountain ranges like Alps, Andes, Rocky. If we see, it looks, what is this? What is this man doing? Squatting all the time, doing nothing. If you go to Himalayas, you find people with who are living in a body of 300 years age, 500 years age, 1500 years age, doing nothing. Morning, evening, they drink waters from Ganges, and rest of the time they meditate. Their meditation is far more powerful and effective than all the goodwill work that we people do on the planet. Yes. Our doing is so superficial, there is much doing about nothing. Yes. Too much activity and too little effectiveness. Yes. But too little activity and too much of effectiveness. That is called the state of Naga. Yes. Such beings are generally in the form of the way serpents that can fly. It's a facility to them. The word Naga, Ga and Ja, they are interchangeable. Jose, Gose, yes. Isn't it? In English we say Joseph, and when I heard the Spanish friends, they say it Gose. Ga, Ja, Ya, they are all interchangeable sounds. Yeah. So Naga is Naza. There were Nagas in north of India. There were also Nagas in Central America. And there were Nazas in the Holy Land of Canaan, which is part of Israel. So Nazarene comes from it. Nazareth comes from it. Joseph was a Nazarene. Yes. Jesus was a Nazarene. Meaning people who can move earth and heaven and yet remain quiet, seemingly inactive. Yeah. That's the state of Naga. Yeah. People think of so much of power today. Think of the power that an atom carries. Does it ever show its power? Can we be as powerful as an atom? Yeah. That's why the noblest and the sublimest things are always in creation in the simplest forms. The very belief in simplicity has its power. So that is about Nagas and the dragons. The other serpents are all crawling serpents which are poisonous. These Nagas are knowers of time. Their knowledge of time is complete. They know cycles of time. Yes. And then they function according to the dictates of time, because through time the plan is well executed. And Asclepius was a great initiate from Greece. He was himself a Naga, a Nazarene. In the sense, an initiate. He had the cooperation of a serpent for healing purposes. And he was holding the serpent as his staff, like Moses. Moses' staff is also a serpent of wisdom. It's called Aaron's rod. And that Aaron's rod, don't think it comes from Aaron. It does not come from Aaron, his younger brother or elder brother. Aries is the symbol from where you have the double serpent moving around the Sushumna. It's an Aryan rod, which is awakened in him when he had the vision of the Lord on Mount Sinai. The staff is only a symbolic presentation of realization of his Sushumna, Ida and Pingala. When they do acts, outward acts, the power from the inner column is transmitted into the rod that they hold. And the rod does miracles. If you hold it, it would be only a stick of wood. But when Moses or Asclepius holds it, it is magical. So the magic is not in the stick. The magic is in the initiate. So Asclepius was one such initiate who was frequently using that rod, which was in the form of a snake, to touch people and heal them. Yes. And he was very friendly with serpents. Yes. There were many Nagas, the cobras, with him, helping him to bring in more and more magnetic power into the area. There is a healing center relating to Asclepius in Greece, where you find Asclepius holding a serpent in hand. It's a serpent of healing. healing and teaching are together always, meaning that he is an initiate. In India, till very recently, in the meditation rooms of traditional families, serpents used to be there. People never used to fear a cobra, because cobra has times more comprehension than what we have. And they are embodiments of wisdom. We can speak to them. Yes. They listen. Yes. You can feed them. They give you magnetic energy which would help you to alleviate from your sufferings, which would also give you the necessary impetus in your meditations. It's like being a master of wisdom in your house. In our childhood, we used to have many such stories, episodes, and also used to go and see in the houses serpents in the worship room. They go out, they come in, but when they come in, they only come into the shrine room. They don't disturb you into other rooms. And in my own life, I have seen a serpent which coils around a Shivalingam. Every morning during dawn hours, it goes to a lake, takes a shower, comes back and coils around the Shivalingam. And again in the evening, it goes to the lake, takes shower and coil around the Shivalingam. Day and night it is with Shivalingam only. It's a cobra. So when we came to know, we were children at that time. Our father took us over there. And it's a big commotion. It happened very near 200 kilometers from here, or less than that. It was happening in a temple, in a remote place. It was not harming anyone. If you give milk, it takes milk. Rest of the time it coils around the Shivalingam. My father was so inspired seeing it. He took the serpent into his hands and started chanting the name of the Lord. It opened its hood and started looking at my father and making a dance. He wanted that we should also hold it. But we are already more civilized now. We just touched it while he was holding it. He restored it to the Shivalingam again. It was there for an year or two, and one fine morning, no one saw it anymore. This is how cobras behave, like a very conscious saints. Yeah, this is to give some idea about these cobras. Yes. If a cobra comes into your house, which is very common in India, you can talk to it. We feel disturbed, kindly find some other place. If you just say like this loudly, it will go away. No one dares to hurt a cobra in India. Yes, because they know it's like a saint. Yeah. Only the modern Indian is learning to kill cobras, but not the ones a generation or two ago. Then we have, I'll answer small questions before then go to the mountain of God means the mountain of gods or Meru, whose representative in the fourth race was Mount Atlas, the last form of one of the divine titans, so high in those days that the ancients believed that the heavens rested on its top. The truth is that Atlas, the mountain of gods, and also the hero of that name, are the esoteric symbols of the fourth race, and his 7 daughters, the Atlantides, are the symbols of the 7 sub-races. Mount Atlas, according to all the legends, was 3 times as high as it is now, having sunk at 2 different times. It is of a volcanic origin, and therefore the voice within Ezekiel says, I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee. Could you explain these sentences? Yes. The question is big, but the answer is very small. Yes. We too carry Atlas in us because man is made in the image and likeness of God. The tip of the vertebra, around that point, the vertebra is called Atlas. Over that there is the globe called the head. So the Atlas for the creation and Atlas for human being, first relate them, then you get the correspondence. Yes. The Atlas is the vertebral column. Yes. The total mountain. The tip of the Atlas is also the tip of our vertebra. Inside the mountain or the vertebra, it's all fire only. It's all very volcanic. It can generate fire from within. Ezekiel represents a cycle of time. Through cycles of time, the whole thing can be destroyed. Destroyed in the sense dissolved through pralaya. So Ezekiel is the voice within. It says, I can bring you down, I can devour you. Yes. And that part is thus explained. And inside the Sushumna there is the fire which runs through and keeps this whole system in existence. And this fire is the cosmic fire, and is said to be of volcanic origin. Yes, it was 3 times bigger than this before. The mountain was 3 times bigger than what it is now. It is true that the man's vertebra sunk so much. There were men of 28 feet high. Then, as times in the process of our getting more denser and denser and denser, we have become puny and are pygmies compared to them. In the earlier ages, there were men with 28 feet height. Then they slowly became 21, then 14, then 7. Now, we are even further reducing ourselves from 7. Yes. 6 feet is already big for us. Yes. Human beings are generally between 5 and 6 feet now. This is the sinking of the vertebra, which is also sinking of Atlas. So it happened, each time there is a change of the race. From second to third, from third to fourth, as the races involved, the beings are becoming puny, small, and the titanic race are no more. Even the Atlanteans were of gigantic stature compared to the present human beings. So that's how the truth is that at last the mountain of gods and also the hero of that name is the esoteric symbol of the fourth race. Yes. So fourth race has, every race has its 7 sub-races. So each, from sub-race to sub-race also there is gradual reduction and getting more and more inclined towards materiality. So Atlas is sinking, and then the fire remains inside, which can transform everything relating to Atlas. Yes. It is also called the Meru, upon which the whole creation relating to us rests. Yes. On the peak of the mountain, all the gods rest. Your head is the abode of gods. And that part of the body, from the neck to diaphragm, is the abode of the forces of God. Forces of gods, which are divine or diabolic. Below the diaphragm, it's all mortal man. Yes. So below the diaphragm it is matter. Above the diaphragm up to the neck it is force. Above the neck it's all consciousness. Matter, force and consciousness. These are the 3 aspects that are generally present in the entire body. There is consciousness in the feet also. But in the head, it's more. There is matter in relation to head also. But it is a place more for consciousness. So, Consciousness is in the head, force is in the middle part of the body, and matter is in the lower part of the body. So that's why it is called the abode of gods, or the mountain of gods. And the heavens are all rested here, in the head. If your awareness is in the head, not in the stomach, or in the chest region, you are already in the heaven. In Purusha Sukta we sing, Sirshno Dyav. Sirsha means the head, Dyav means heaven. Heaven means the field of light, electrical light. We can also say this way, head is electrical, the upper part of the trunk, you call the whole thing trunk? Upper part of the trunk is called force or solar fire, and from diaphragm below it is frictional fire. The three fires are generally relatable to these three parts of the body. So that's how we can find Atlas. Yes. Hercules also plays for a while the role of Atlas, isn't it? Meaning every initiate can himself be holder of gods and work for them. All those grand masters of wisdom who work for the divine plan are also fulfilling the principle of Atlas. That is how we have to understand this symbolism. Yes. Could you please explain something about initiates of the right and of the left path? Initiates of the right and the left path. Left. White magic and black magic. Until man completes the fourth initiation, where individual ego is dissolved into universal consciousness, he has the two paths open, white magic or black magic. What makes magic black or white is the motto. Power is the same. Knowledge is the same. Yes. It's the motive that makes it black or white. And there are many instances where a white magician suddenly turns out to be a black magician. Because the ego is still present. And until the ego is totally dissolved, it is called dissolution of linga sarira or causal body. Until the causal body is dissolved, he stands a chance to be a black magician also. That's how the situation is. Yes. If the ego springs and it feels with all these powers, I am great, and I would like to demonstrate my greatness. Remember, even Daksha, who is the first heavenly man, our chief progenitor, he suffered from his ego, separated consciousness. So third initiation is only in relation to immortality. The fourth initiation is in relation to absorption into the divine. Thereafter it is only the divine that can function through. So until the fourth is over, the chance to be black or white is there, and it is only the ego that decides. Ego associated with good motive becomes white magician, and ego related with the evil motive becomes a black magician. That's how there is a lot to do to neutralize the work of black magicians also for the white brotherhood. They have an extra challenge in this matter. Suddenly the aspirant turns out to be otherwise. A disciple turns out to be otherwise. All the good work done with an aspirant or a disciple for generations, he can receive the impact of a black magician and turn for black work. That's how the white brotherhood has to guard the innocent disciples and aspirants also from the work of the black magicians. Yeah. The more we know about black magician than what we have known now is not really good. Because energy follows thought. If you start thinking too much about the black magician, he is a faster worker than a white magician. He is a faster, rapid worker. He can very quickly visit us and recruit us in his party. Yes, that's why not much is spoken about the work of the black magicians to the students. Because students are tender energy, they can be easily inspired in either direction. And it's easier to inspire with the technique of black magic than with the white magic. Black magic shows immediate, quick, tangible results. So it is attractive for people. So they get into it easily. It's more tempting. White magic is like, as I said in the other class, a bland food. Not so spicy. So you should find taste for it. Yes. So that's how it is as between the two. We'll continue tomorrow in the healing center about the rest of the questions and complete these questions by tomorrow noon. Thank you.